Oh, we do have a theme song.
We do have a theme song, and I am gonna play it right now.
Hail Kings Podcast.
Mark, Mark,
Hey,
welcome
Chris,
back.
Chris,
Bonjour. Hello.
Chris,
Yes. Brad.
Chris.
Brad.
We have King of the Hill expertise on the show
We
this week.
do. We have got a true
Royalty, as it
expert with
were.
us.
Someone
You
who
guys,
actually knows what they're talking about is on the show.
you don't think you know what you're talking about?
No, absolutely not.
No,
We're so dumb. We're so
no,
bad at this.
we are.
We don't know anything.
Longtime
Marianne
nephews will
from
know.
would you say kothtok?
I usually say kothtok. Some people call me King
Okay.
of the Hill Talk. I
King of
think
the
a
Hill
lot of
talk.
people don't. A lot of people don't realize that's why it's Koth. A lot of people think my name is Koth,
That's
Mm,
a great
something
name,
like
it's a
that.
actually.
sick name, dude.
Cough.
Cough.
Marianne is on the show. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for joining
Thanks for
us.
coming on to chat everything King of the Hill, but mainly to Spank with Love from season 3.
Episode 11.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a classic, yeah. It had been a while since I had seen it, but we'll get into all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Appreciate you being on. Your TikTok is one of the, I would say, best sources for King of the Hill analysis on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Very thorough.
How did you get into making King of the Hill and like animation based content?
Well, it was kind of funny because when I was growing up, I used to love like Angry Video Game Nerd and like
Mm-hmm.
Linkara and who were Todd in the Shadows and I loved all of those kind of like video, like proto reviewers. Like that later
Mm-hmm.
became a thing, but at the time, they were kind of the pioneers of that genre of video. And I would always watch that and I'd be like, oh, that's so cool. I want to do that. Like, I wonder what my thing could be. And it didn't even occur to me until later that, I love animation and so basically, then TikTok came around. I got it. It was during COVID, I think. And I made a video that was just which characters would vote for Trump.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
it it's kind of funny in retrospect. I remember it blowing up. It actually only got like 10,000 views, I think, but at the time I was like, "Whoa, it's like so many views."
Yeah.
Um
It's more
and
than
yeah,
we've gotten.
Mm-hmm.
and then I basically just from there I was getting a lot of positive feedback and I was like, "Oh, maybe I could make more videos about this." And just kind of one thing led to another and before I knew it, I was like the king of the hill lady and kind of known for that. And I just sort of realized along the way, like, oh, I guess I actually do know a lot about this show. It didn't really occur to me until I like started this channel, but
So what is your history with the show? Were you watching it like as a kid? Did you come to it later in like college, or what's your history like with King of
oh,
the Hill?
I watched it as a kid all the time with my parents. I have a brother and a sister, and we would all watch that together.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my brother and a sister, they actually are responsible for a lot of my interest in animation because they were like experts on The Simpsons, and I was always like so mad that they
Mm.
knew all that stuff and I didn't. Um, but
Brad's constantly trying to turn this into a Simpsons podcast.
Yeah. I'm a big Simpsons guy. Chris approached me and he was like, "We should do a podcast about King of the Hill." And I was like, "What about The Simpsons?" But
And I was like, eat my shorts.
yeah.
so,
That
yeah, just when I was a kid growing up, I loved the show. I always really liked it. It always kind of made me feel like, oh, I'm watching the grown-up show. Like,
yeah.
Mm.
look at me.
Hmm.
Um,
I felt that
and
as a kid too. I was like, this is smart humor. I'm smart.
yeah, it's not. I recently got a copy of my family's like baby books, and King of the Hill is actually mentioned in that. Not in relation to me, unfortunately, but basically there's like a bit where my mom talks about the SAT, like the King of the Hill was talking about the SAT, and that sparked a conversation about the SAT in our household, and
Huh.
just thought that's interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Um,
I think I saw you mention in one of your TikToks that you've never been to Texas also.
No, I have not. I was supposed to go to meet my online D&D group for like an IRL
cool.
meetup
Oh,
thing,
cool.
but that fell through for various reasons.
So hard to
Yeah.
schedule D&D.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Chris
especially
and
in
I have
person
played.
D&D.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris and I have
Yes,
played
we know
together
that.
for years, and yeah,
Hmm.
we know all about that. I had a similar experience growing up and thinking that it was very smart, but also like kind of the idea of Texas. I grew up in Canada, so it all felt very fictional. And I remember I moved to Oklahoma when I was in high school and seeing a Whataburger for the first time and going to Texas and like realizing that that was all
Oh, it's a real
real.
place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a trip.
And I'm from
Um,
Oklahoma, so a
yeah,
lot of the characters for me was like, oh, I know people like that.
Texas light. Yeah, Texas's
Hmm.
little brother.
Low al low alcohol content Texas.
Well, should we just get into our first segment
Get
here?
into it.
What do you
Yeah,
think? Everybody's
let's do it.
favorite segment of the show. This week in Arlen, the segment of the show where we go through what was going on in the world at the time of this episode's airing on television. This episode, season 3, episode 11, aired on January 19th, 1999. Kicking it off, as we always do, with a peek at the TV guide for this evening. Anything standing out to y'all on this TV guide? There is a State of the Union.
I was gonna say it's very blank. I'm guessing
Remember
that's the
those?
State of the Union.
Remember when that was a thing?
Hmm.
When the president would get on TV and he'd talk to everybody?
Oh,
Good
I
times, right?
remember. I remember.
We've got
Was there?
Home Improvement. King of the Hill is airing on Tuesdays at this time. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
you're familiar with the shift from Sunday to Tuesday after season 2. Um, but we're up against like Buffy and Moesha. It was a tough time, I think, for the show.
Third Rock
Yeah.
from the Sun, that's like a really good competitor actually for that show. They're very similar in many ways.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely had their work cut out for them. I think they moved back to Sunday in season 4, or it might be season 5, because I think
I
they
hope so.
realized that they just couldn't compete against Buffy.
Hanging Tuesdays. I haven't. I don't think I've seen this show following King of the Hill yet. The PJs.
I
Oh,
think
I've
we've,
seen that.
yeah, we've talked about it a little.
Oh,
It's that
have
like
we?
claymation animated
Hmm.
show.
Yeah, so I will preface this by saying that I was a little kid when I saw it and like I didn't like it for I don't know. I didn't really understand it, to be honest, so I cannot
Yeah,
say definitively that it's a bad show, but I will say that when I was little, I predicted that King of the Hill would have like a much longer lasting legacy than the PJs would. Like I
yeah,
made that that's the kind of kid I was. I made that exact prediction as a child.
and you
Like
were
this
right.
This
poor
don't look like it's
Clarice.
gonna stick.
I
Uh,
think I was just kind of unsettled by the animation. It just kind of looked off to me. But yeah, I don't really remember a lot about it.
I had just turned 6 years old, like 9 days prior to this episode coming out. Where would
Happy birthday,
Yeah,
Chris.
thank you, thank you.
Wow.
What would Mary be doing on January 19th of 1999 if you were to guess?
January 19th of 1999, I was probably like uh I was probably looking for my homework and trying to get my shit together for kindergarten. Oh, sorry, you're not supposed to curse on this show,
Oh
right?
Oh
no, no,
no,
you can say fuck and ass and what are some of the other ones?
well those are the main
Piss.
ones.
Oh, yeah. Shit's good too.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was in if I'm doing my math right, I think I was in kindergarten at the time. So
I
I
like how you were getting
probably
your homework together. Like, oh shit.
yeah, there's a good chance this episode may have been playing in the background, and I'm not sure if I would have actually been watching it. Although my mom did say in my baby book, apparently one of the first things that would catch my attention was TV. She could literally sit me in front of any
Yeah,
program, like the news or something, and I would just be like fascinated by it. So I
same.
was probably kind of unconsciously watching the show.
Mhm.
In other TV news, however, not on this night, but this week, we did have a new episode of The Simpsons. Wild Barts Can't Be Broken. Do you remember
Mm.
this one? It's the one where It starts off with Homer getting really drunk because the Isotopes win the championship, and then he like trashes the school, and they implement a curfew, and all the kids can't go out at night
Hmm.
anymore, and they like sneak out to a horror movie and like
Interesting.
mess with all the adults. And it's one of those episodes of The Simpsons. We're in like season 10 of The Simpsons at this point, and it's one of those episodes with just like a random musical number for no reason.
I
Like
like that.
everybody just starts singing. It's a pretty forgettable episode of The
I
Simpsons.
might remember the musical number. What's the musical number?
It's like all about like kids versus adults.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I do remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't really remember the episode,
Yeah.
but I do remember the musical number.
Yeah, kind of the era of The Simpsons where, in my opinion, it started going a little downhill or very downhill, depending on who you ask. But this scene is memorable. It's kind of like Children of the Corn. Like
I
they
like that.
convince all
Yeah.
the adults that they're like weird aliens, War of the World style. So that's my
Hilarious.
Simpsons. I get to talk about The Simpsons for a minute on the episode. But moving on into movie news, the number one film this week was Varsity Blues,
Varsity Blues.
which I am not familiar with as a non-football fan.
I have watched this a couple of times. It's just one of those ones that kind of always was rerunning and playing in the fraternity house in college of those like,
Wow.
what? You haven't seen
Wow.
Varsity Blues? It's a classic.
And if you didn't know, Chris is really cool. He's like a chill
Hmm.
frat bro. Yeah. I love the disparity 45% to 76% on the Rotten
Hmm.
Tomatoes.
I do always love a nice cap. Good,
Yeah.
good cast in this though. Young Paul
Vanderbeek,
Walker,
dude?
John
Vanderbeek.
Voight.
John Voight?
Yeah, what a cast.
Wow. I'm gonna have to watch this. In other movie news, there was a Val Kilmer rom-com,
God, I love Val Kilmer.
At First Sight. It's about Val Kilmer and he's blind and he meets a massage therapist, or
Wow.
he is a massage therapist, and they kind of fall in love. And
This is like aggressively 1999.
yeah.
Yes, I was gonna say that's just such a '90s plot and such a '90s title to like. Oh, it's
At
about a Bible. Call
First
it.
Sight. New Line Cinema
Jesus.
presents. I can only imagine the trailer for this.
You can see
Uh
the anxiety about Y2K in their faces. Like
yeah,
this.
that was ramping up for sure. Yeah. I love how it
Um,
was like, and we'll have you both close your eyes for this photo because you're blind.
let's see. What's the tagline up there? Only love can bring you to your senses, is
That's
what it says in the
really
top
good.
corner.
That's really
Whoa.
good.
Oh, it's
Wow.
inspired by a true story.
Oh, wow.
I guess blind people are real.
In music news, the number one song in the planet, or in the planet, in the
Hmm.
country was Brandy. Have you ever? And I don't know if you noticed on the TV guide, Moesha was up against King of the Hill.
Hmm.
So Brandy was kind of taking over the TV and the
The
charts
airwaves
and
absolutely
our
dominating.
hearts. It feels like every week there's either a Brandy song or
Hmm.
like Britney Spears at this time. Unavoidable.
Truly.
In tech news, the first BlackBerry ever was released
Wow.
on this day, on January
So,
19th.
do you want to know how it got its name, the
Uh,
BlackBerry?
is it because of the keyboard?
Well, that might be related, but supposedly what I read, and I think it was the New Yorker, was that they were trying to base it off of something that made people happy. So they were brainstorming things that make people
Mm.
happy, and they liked the word strawberry, but someone was like, strawberry sounds too long, and then they went with blackberry because it sounded like shorter to say than strawberry.
Hmm.
Huh.
It also sounds more professional.
It does, yeah. It has like, kind of a sleek business vibe
Yeah.
going on.
Strawberry sounds a little silly. Like, oh, pardon me, I'm getting a call on my strawberry.
Yeah.
I'd, I'd get a call on my strawberry. Yeah, this was speaking of Y2K anxiety. This kind of was the shift into the
Hmm.
digital age. This was kind of the first step, and I think this did have a large part in kind of the growing
Yeah.
anxiety around technology taking over and robots ruling the world.
The
So
BlackBerry
interesting.
really did walk so that the iPhone could run.
I
True.
just realized that my story like completely contradicts your caption about it being named after the likeness of the fruit. So
I've heard the strawberry thing before too, though.
I mean, RIP to the BlackBerry regardless. What a
Yeah.
what an icon of the
If
era.
only, if only we could go back, Barry.
I will say
Uh,
the Nokia Sidekick was much cooler in my opinion later on. I think was dope.
See, I didn't have a cell phone until college,
Wow.
so I missed out on a pager. Is that BlackBerry was really only you were getting beeps, right?
I think it started as a pager,
Yeah,
yeah.
you weren't sending texts, BlackBerry style. Moving on into sports news, Michael Jordan announced his retirement this week again for the second time. So this was post second three-peat, second retirement Jordan. The funny thing about this is he would announce that he is coming back as the owner of the Washington Wizards exactly 1 year from this day. So he
Whoa.
stayed out of basketball for a year and then he jumped back in. Uh, and then I think he was the owner of the Wizards for like a few weeks and then was like, I'm gonna play. These guys suck. And we all know
To-
how that worked out.
total Jordan shit.
Total Jordan shit. In birthday
Absolutely.
news, today was Dolly Parton's 53rd
Oh my God.
birthday.
Shout out to the Queen.
Happy B-Day to the Queen. It was also Paula Deen Queen's 52nd birthday.
Wow.
Another Southern belle who's never done anything racist or bad or
And
wrong.
what a contradiction between these two ladies.
Yeah, I don't know if you
One's
Yes.
noticed.
so villainous and one's
This
such a
picture
saint.
is
Have you
from
read
her
have
when
you
she
read The
went.
Twits by Roald Dahl where it's like good
Uh-uh.
intentions and bad intentions and the two characters? You know what I'm talking about?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And
Okay,
that
well, if you
was
know what I'm talking about, then like hopefully that's funny.
it was written about Paula Deen and Dolly Parton.
I like how you
This
included this picture that says Sloppy Joe's right above her head.
Yeah, this picture is of the one on the right is from when she went on CNN to like beg and plead for people to stop canceling her.
She
You can
speaks
see
out.
like she speaks on slurs, lawsuit, and professional fallout. Yeah.
Damn.
So she had a good run. Wrapping it out, it was also the 617th wedding anniversary of Richard II and Anne of Bohemia.
Of
Oh,
So
good for
course.
them.
happy anniversary to them. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Anne of Bohemia, the
Didn't
Queen
she
of
die of the
England.
plague in
She
1394?
did die of the plague, and then Richard was so distraught that he burned down the abbey that she lived in.
Oh
And
my
then a
God.
year later, he married a 6-year-old.
What?
White people.
Yeah, that was some King of England shit.
Damn. What was going on in the 13s?
Yeah, I like to pepper in a little bit of
Mary, the last slide is always a downer. Normally it's someone
yeah,
dying, but
yeah. I usually try to make the vibes bad before we get into the episode, so that'll do it. Let's talk about King of the Hill. How
yeah,
about?
it's time to start this mower up. Brad already mentioned this is season 3, episode 11, To Spank with Love, airing 1/19 of 1999.
What's that now?
Ooh, new soundboard, nephews. Very exciting. This one is going to be directed by Wes Archer, of course, and Adam Kuhlman. We've talked about Adam Kuhlman before. You guys will know him from being heavily involved in The Simpsons, as well as one of the co-creators of Family Guy.
And from being a cool man.
From being a
Cool.
cool. Oh, I love that one. Yeah, he's a pretty cool man. Your writers for this one. Oh no, I got that wrong. Adam Kuhlman's not involved with American Dad.
Chris, dude,
I
what are
know.
we
I'm
even
so
doing
sorry,
here?
Mary.
These guys are freaks.
Oh, my knowledge doesn't run that deep. I don't know like okay, I do know a few individual writers for some episodes, but I don't know
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the
I
production
usually
team for
kind of
every one.
tune out after he says Judge and Daniels.
Yeah, your writers for this one are Judge and Daniels, but then Zuckerman is also your writer here. He was one of the no,
Yeah,
American Dad. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have a funny soundbite for Zuckerman. I'm sorry.
Fucked it up. Fucked it up. Moving on. Your blurb for this episode is Peggy gets a reputation for draconian discipline after spanking one of her students in class, which pretty much describes this episode right down the pipe.
Yep,
That's pretty much
pretty
yeah,
accurate.
That's everything that happens.
That's basically all that happens. We'll definitely get into it, but this one's very straightforward app.
Yeah, it didn't really stand out for me like as a memorable episode, but on rewatch there was a lot of funny moments that I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I remember this.
The spank itself stood out, but nothing about the episode was was in my brain. Did you, whenever you were watching this, Mary, did you have any of like, oh yeah, I've definitely seen this one before, or was this one of the ones where it's like, where did this come from?
Oh, I mean, I would say there's not really any episode that I would watch, and other than maybe a small handful of the newer ones, not the ones that
Yeah.
just came out, but the ones before that, like I pretty much recognize all of them. But this one, I can tell you that a lot of people remember this one. A lot of people, it made an impact on a lot of people, pun intended.
Nice. The first act is pretty straightforward. It's basically Peggy's going to get called in to substitute. While she's substituting, she's being evaluated because it's been a while since she's been evaluated. And the first act is going to culminate with the class essentially getting being out of control, and Peggy is going to spank Dooley. This is a very Dooley and Clark heavy episode.
The second I saw Dooley and Clark walk into the classroom, I got so excited
Hmm.
because I just love everything about their vocal delivery and their entire vibe.
We get a cold open in this episode, which is always nice, and it's an interesting cold open because Bobby and Joseph are like helping Peggy in the garden. Um, and there's a really funny exchange. Well, first off, Bobby says, "I'm getting some nice color," and Hank like sighs. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whoa, Hank. Um, but yeah, a snake comes slithering through the garden, and Peggy's a total badass here and just grabs the snake
She fucking
by the
like
head.
crocodile hunters that
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
man.
No
Uh,
fear.
and then she's able to identify its gender and age roughly, which I thought was like very interesting for her.
But
Um,
we all know that she could have been completely making that up, right? Because it is
I
that's 100%
don't,
true.
I kind of think, okay, I think she could have been, but I kind of think maybe she wasn't
it
because she
felt
did grow
real.
up. Didn't she
Yeah.
grow up on a farm?
They retcon her. She grows up in Montana. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, she
I think.
definitely grew up in Montana, but I think it's like sometimes she grew up on a farm and
Hmm.
sometimes she grew up in just like a
Yeah.
regular house. But
Yeah.
she knows, like, she definitely has like animal knowledge. Like, that's
Hmm.
established. So I don't know. I could see that happening.
Well,
I
she's as
I
cool
fully
as most
believed her.
dads.
So Joseph says. And then there's this really weird exchange where Bobby is like, yeah, it's like that book they took out of the library. I've got two dads.
I've
And
Very,
got two
very,
dads.
very Texas.
Hank is like, no, you don't. That felt very. Whenever I heard that line, I was like, whoa, that is modern. That is a joke that is fitting into 2025.
I mean, they basically
Yeah.
do a book burning gag in the new season too.
I haven't gotten there yet, Brad.
Oh yeah, Chris hasn't actually caught
I'm way
up
behind. I'm way
on the
behind.
new season, so I guess no spoilers. I've already
The
spoiled
spoilies,
multiple
please.
things for him.
That's all right. Yeah, we'll have a cold open. But yeah, after the cold open, it's pretty much straight into the school. Peggy gets called in the morning, and it's Johnny Hardwick voicing this person who's trying to get a substitute teacher to come in, and Peggy is like, "Oh, it's Spanish class," and the person is like, "You'll be fine. You'll be just fine. That's your that's your best
Long
subject."
pause. Yeah.
I like
Best
that.
subject.
Um, but Peggy can sense that this guy isn't, giving her the truth, and she eventually gets it out of him that she's going to have a surprise evaluation. Um, so she shows up to school kind of on edge.
He did her a
Uh,
solid, though.
he really did.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, I
I don't
could
know if
lose my
it
job for
helped.
this.
Yeah, debatable.
Yeah. I do love
Uh,
how much in the once we get to the classroom, like just how much Peggy is hamming up the
hmm
Spanish.
Yes, constantly mispronouncing.
Ay,
Classic
Although,
Peggy.
Margarita.
I think like this is one of the episodes where her Spanish is actually relatively
Hmm.
passable.
Yeah,
And, that's because it's earlier in the series, and I think it's as it went on, they really kind of flanderized her and made her Spanish like not something that would actually be acceptable to be
Yeah,
teaching to children for the most part.
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and she's actually not, saying more than just one word here, which normally it's just like you get one in a sentence for her, but here she's actually like teaching a lesson in Spanish. And one of the jokes to this whole first act is ask people asking in Espanol, like people keep speaking in English and they keep asking each other to say it back in Spanish. Like the class quickly gets out of hand. They start shooting Nerf guns
Well, Dooley and
at
Clark
Peggy.
immediately see like, oh, we've got a
Hmm.
sub,
And they say
and it's time.
attack.
Yeah. Were you guys like this in school? Did you ever mess with substitute teachers?
My mom was a teacher, so
Oh,
um
so you
she
weren't
was
allowed.
well that but she was well she later became a full-time teacher, but she was originally a sub for a while. And also even besides that, actually I guess I did mess with them a little bit. I remember one time I like swapped name tags with another girl in the class, and I just thought that was like the coolest thing, or like I don't know what I thought I was doing, but it
Hmm.
was like so sneaky.
I've done a name swap for a substitute teacher before. Yep.
Yeah.
Classic. Hee hee hee. They'll never
So
know we're both here.
naughty. I TP'd a substitute teacher's house on Halloween.
Oh, I think you've told us this. Is this the same substitute teacher that you saw naked in the hot tub?
Yep.
Nice. Um, yeah, the class is getting out of hand. They brought a Nerf gun. Um, Randy is gonna snitch. Randy, the little nerdy kid, is gonna snitch on. He's gonna say, Estan Dooley, um,
Two eras muertes.
tu eres muerte. He says, "You're dead," and then Peggy is like, "En español, tu eres muerte." Loved that joke. But Dooley is gonna be eating some lunch
Yeah,
behind
he
Peggy's
steals
back.
Peggy's lunch. It's so
Hmm.
cruel.
That was
Yeah.
really mean.
Just like, and everyone thinks it's hilarious, and she's just getting pegged with Nerf darts to the
Hmm.
head. Like, I understand why she snapped.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of an overreaction.
At the end of the day, we're back over at the Hill House, and Peggy has received a needs improvement on her report. She's very beat up about it.
And
It's very
Luann has short hair again. There's some
Luann has short
continuity
hair.
in this
Hmm.
season that we've noticed.
Yep.
Because Luann starts the season with short hair, and then we have a few episodes where it's back to normal, and then it's back to being short.
Yep.
Yep, this season they just totally swapped him around. Like they had this beautiful continuity that they worked so hard to do,
Yeah.
and it was like I've actually made a video talking about how that was also symbolic of Luann's like growth as a person and stuff, and
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
just totally messed that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Production order.
she's got her short hair. Um, the next day we're back at Tom Landry Middle School, and the class is just wild and out. Wrote some stuff on the blackboard. They snuck some chalk in
The
her
chalk in the
eraser.
eraser gag. I've done that
Hmm.
one.
That one seems relatively harmless, I guess.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
used to actually one thing we used to do to substitutes uh before we were getting settled for class. This was in middle school. We used to unplug their mouse cords from the computer, so they'd
That's
just
good.
be sitting over there.
That's
Yeah.
really good.
Oh,
Hmm.
I can't believe I didn't mention I actually was a substitute teacher briefly.
I
Oh
was
wow.
too. Yeah, for a
Oh,
short
cool.
time.
Did people mess with you?
Did
Yep.
they pull your pants down?
They,
A
oh
kid
yeah, they messed with the heck out of me. Like the biggest one was telling me they had to go to the nurse. They would be like, I have a cut on my finger. I have to go to the nurse, and Timmy has to walk with me, or something like that.
Yeah. No, you
Yeah,
can't go.
I actually did have a kid eat my lunch.
Wow.
Not in front of me, but I like came back into the room and my lunch was gone. I was like, what the hell? What the
Jesus.
helly?
Children. One of the themes to this episode is going to kind of be centered around like bullying. And like in the beginning of this episode, Peggy is really getting bullied, but throughout the rest of the episode, Peggy becomes the bully. And this last scene is where we see the crux of that switching. So yeah, the class is wild and out. Dooley and Clark are like shining the reflection of their wristwatches into Peggy's eyes, and
Also
Peggy
good.
Peggy comes to, yeah, I do that still today. Um,
In
I
what
do it to
context?
I'll hit Rachel with it if we're
That's his
just hanging out and
wife.
stuff. Yeah. Um,
I do it at church.
yeah, to the preacher. Um, I can't enter church buildings, man. You know that.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, Peggy goes to confiscate the boys' watches, and Dooley is going to pants her. And then we get this nice, like, kind of like shock and terror freeze animation sequence where the kids are like slow motion laughing at her. And Peggy just snaps. And she yanks Dooley up out of his seat, bends him over the desk, and just hits him with a couple of spanks. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like jarring. It's a little
Hmm.
visceral. And she immediately, like, you can tell she knows that she fucked up.
Well, she says, holy crap.
Yeah.
Very, Peggy curses. And that's the end of our first act is the spanking. So they get that spank in quick, and the rest of the episode is kind of going to be the fallout from the spank.
Yeah, Peggy immediately knows she's gonna get fired.
Hmm. We come back to from the first commercial break, and yeah, Peggy is crashing out at home. She's like, 18 years wasted. Um, Hank, is she's like, I could be. People keep telling me I could be a software engineer, which definitely actually seems like a Peggy profession.
As a former substitute teacher, I love the joke that's like, they won't fire you, they'll just stop
Yeah.
calling.
Which is like true and also so cutting.
Hmm.
Like he thought that was helpful somehow.
Like
Uh-huh.
you don't actually have a job. They're gonna stop calling you. I love that Bobby kind of gives her a pep talk on how to deal with bullies. Like
Hmm.
that definitely comes from experience. He's like, you just gotta pull your pants back up and get back out there.
Yeah, Bobby is like, if you didn't know that, then I'm not surprised your evaluation.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby is on point this episode. I really liked him. But yeah, Hank is kind of useless, but Hank does bring up he's like, "Oh, you probably didn't hurt him. Like I got spanked all the time." Hank's gonna talk about his old principal and their paddle, old Spanky.
Yeah, big theme of like repressed, not repressed memories per se, but they all act like it was no big deal, and clearly it was
Mm-hmm.
a big
Yeah,
deal to
it
them.
had an
Mm-hmm.
effect on them.
Yes.
My high school, so I moved to Oklahoma freshman year of high school. My high school had a paddle.
My middle school had a paddle.
Yeah, that's a thing that they just do in the South.
Mm-hmm.
Still. I mean, I don't know if still today, but
Yeah.
probably.
You went to a little bit more of a rural school.
Yeah, it was like a farming town.
Yeah. I do think you are still allowed to do that in Oklahoma.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Um, we're back at the middle school and we're in the principal's office and Peggy is meeting with Dooley's parents. And Dooley's name is actually Stuart. We find out
Is
here
this
in
the
this
first time
scene.
we learned that his name is Stuart?
I think so.
Wow.
The parents are actually like pretty happy with Peggy.
They're stoked.
The mom, like very straight faced, is like, "You did
They
good."
thank her.
um, but the principal's gonna fire her anyways. And she's like, "What? They forgave me."
I love
Uh,
Principal Moss, the way he's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, it doesn't say anything about forgiveness. Like, just
mhm.
Yeah.
does not give a shit about it at all. But
Yeah,
He's
he's
very
basically
letter
like
of
like
the
that,
law.
that could very much actually happen. That it's like it doesn't really matter how
Yeah.
they feel about it, you know?
Yeah, he's like, you didn't follow the protocol. Looks like I followed all the protocol to a T, so we're
You're
done
fired.
here. My favorite,
Hmm.
maybe my favorite joke of the whole episode is when he calls in the hall monitor,
Emily.
like basically his muscle, and it's just
So
a tiny,
insulting.
tiny
Yep.
blonde
Like,
girl.
dang.
She says, "It's over, Mrs. Hill."
Emily's the goat.
Yeah, she just gets walked out. So funny.
So good.
But we're back at the house after this, and Peggy is crying to her trophies, and she's like, "I'm sorry, girls. It looks like there won't be a three-peat." Um, and Hank is gonna toss her a software design book, and
So
that's
thoughtful.
he tried.
That
He
was actually
tried.
like very nice of him, even though it made her upset.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he doesn't quite get it, but he's doing his best.
yeah. We're back in the garden again, and this is the second time we're in the garden, and we're gonna see the garden a third time in this episode. Which I thought we don't see the
Wow.
garden all the time in shots
Garden
of the
check.
backyard. It's just kind of like here, there when we need it. But Peggy's crying into her vegetables, and Cotton pulls up. I was not expecting to get Cotton this episode, and when I saw him, I was like, "Hell yeah, a little dose of Cotton."
Yeah, it's always a nice surprise when Cotton shows up.
Cotton pulls up and she's like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Why are you crying, Peggy? You got your monthlies." Classic Cotton fashion. Um, Cotton's there because the VFW is having a pancake dinner and he needs 200 pancakes.
I love Peggy's delivery. It's fine. I will make you 200 pancakes. Like she just,
She's
fine.
crying.
This is my life now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give up. Sure, Cotton, I'll help you, which I think under normal circumstances she would not have done, but yeah.
She's
Uh,
desperate, and he also has a connection to get her job back.
He does, and I liked this about Cotton. There's going to be a couple times, and there's a major plot point in season 4 where Cotton helps get Peggy back up on her feet after her accident. So
Oh yeah.
I actually kind of like that. Normally, he's all Hank's wife to her and stuff, but he is like, no, we're gonna like stop crying. We're gonna get you back on your feet.
Well,
He
it kind of
says, yeah,
seems like it's just as much that as it is he's outraged that she would get fired for hitting a kid.
that's what Cotton's whole stance is. Because the
Yeah.
next scene is the VFW, and everybody in the VFW is going to rally around Peggy hitting these kids. Um, we get to meet the old principal, who spent 35 years shaping the minds of children and preparing them to die in war overseas.
Is that the guy with the fork who's like kind of
Hmm.
being vaguely that guy is hilarious. I can't explain why, but the way he's just like dead staring, not breaking eye contact,
Hmm.
like he's
He's
so intense
seen,
about
yeah,
everything.
he's
He's
seen
drawn
some shit.
interestingly. Um,
Yeah.
and he's got the paddle with him, which I liked. I'm sure he got the heads up from Cotton of what was going on, but I like
I
that he
like
just
to think
had
that
it
he
on
just
him.
has
Just
it.
brings it
Yeah, he's
everywhere.
got that thing on him all the time.
Um, but yeah, everyone is there. Everyone at the VFW is like, we'll sign a petition for you. We'll get, Paddling Peggy back in office, and then we get a nice off screen. Take off your top.
And then someone says, "That's tomorrow night."
That's tomorrow night,
Okay.
Wilfred. Uh, yeah, I always love Cotton's friends. Back in the alley, Peggy pulls up and her spirits are lifted. She's like, the VFW guys are going to help me get my job back. And she starts talking about the old principal. And this is where all of the alley guys have, you know,
Yeah.
got these ingrained memories of getting their
Jeter
ass
the
beat.
beater.
Jeter the beater.
Mm.
Yeah, the guys also, Peggy's got the paddle and she's like smacking it against her hand. And there's a funny scene where all the guys
Muscle memory.
clench their ass and stand up straight.
Yeah, this
Um,
is where they just kind of talk about the concept of like
mhm.
corporal punishment and spanking and how it
Oh my,
like
I
happened to
love
all of
Dale. He's
them.
like, I say spare the rod and spoil the child.
Yeah,
Dale,
and
that
It's
means
like
you're in
you're
favor
pro
of
spanking.
spanking. I don't know
and
why, but I was like dying when I watched that last
Yeah.
night.
I liked that little exchange too because it is like a little subtle complexity in there because Dale is putting a pause between spare the rod, spoil the child. Like it's a direct, it's more of like an actual action for him. Um, yeah, Hank's like that's not what it means, and he's like, I think you're wrong. Um,
I also
Depending
love
on how you look
Bill.
at it,
Like I got spanked all the time by my old man and I turned out okay. And then pausing and just going, bastard.
bastard.
Poor
Um,
Bill.
yeah, Bill's got another funny line coming up. One of my favorite lines of the episode from Bill is coming up in the next act, I think. But we cut over to the Megalo Mart, which is under construction, but they have opened it up for shopping.
Which I
Uh,
love, like more continuity,
Yep.
hmm
the kind of thing that most shows at the time would not have done.
hmm
Yeah, we were talking about that recently. It's kind of bold that
Yeah.
they and ending seasons on a cliffhanger, like actually having the guts to like change the dynamic of the show and like take away add characters.
Yeah, and
And
that really drew me into it watching it like as a kid, for example,
Yeah.
because I wanted to know like, oh, well, like what's the backstory behind this? Like, and I wanted to kind of piece together, the plot and figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
um, it's this one's it's still even if you didn't know that the Megalo Mart exploded, if you just watched this as a rerun in a hotel somewhere, I like that this topic in the 90s would stand out as like a corporal punishment. It was still very,
Yeah, this episode has really good like rewatchability.
I agree. In the Megalo Mart, Peggy's going to talk to another teacher, which is one of our guest voice for the episode.
Oh,
This is going to be Beth Grant is playing the voice of this teacher here. She's guested on this show a couple times. You'll know Beth Grant's work from Donnie Darko, No Country for Old Men. She's in Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, So Long, Julie Newmar, or whatever the freak that movie's title is. So yeah, Beth Grant is going to play this other teacher who is in support of Peggy. She's
yeah.
like, I would never do it, but like, props to you, more power to you. So Peggy's now with like the support of the VF guys and the support of the other teachers. She's kind of
Yep.
starting to get bolstered in her,
There's a
she's getting
petition.
confident in her position. They all signed it. The very next scene is a school board meeting, which is being run by useless Eustace, and Peggy is reinstated. Um,
I
everyone
do.
is,
Cotton says we did it, Hank's wife.
we did it, Hank's wife. And that teacher is like, you stand tall, Paddle and Peggy. And then we get another take your top off. Very good.
Good throwback.
Short scene. But yeah, back over at the house, Peggy Peggy's leaving for work. Hank and Peggy are leaving for work, and Hank's like, "You're taking the paddle? Like, I don't think you need that." And Peggy's like, "Well, people expect it of me now." Um, so she's kind of starting to build her ego. She's fully morphing into her bully form here. Um, but yeah, we come into the classroom and she apologizes to the class and she's like, "I won't spank you like that ever again because now I have this." And it's like, "I won't do that again. I'll do this." And we just get everybody's scared faces
Yeah,
to end the second
setting the
act.
precedent.
Hmm.
We've got a new Peggy.
New Peg, Paddle, and Peggy.
It
Um,
made me think about like, they say you respect people out of love or fear or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, poor Peggy, like she shouldn't be spanking the kids in school, but like she was really frustrated with how they were treating her. So it's
mhm.
understandable that here she's like, oh my gosh, finally I feel like I have a handle on this class. And so she lets all the power just go to her head.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the bullied has become the bully. I think this is like pretty true to like I think we've probably all had that teacher that just had that really mean
Mhm.
exterior, that reputation of just being like scary dickhead teacher. And I think a lot of time that comes out of just having to deal with how
Children.
cruel children can be. So yeah,
Shout out to teachers,
feel
man.
for
That's a
Peggy.
hard job. Very hard job.
Yeah, a little overpaid, but
Nice. Very good. Very good.
hitting.
Back in the third act, Joseph and Connie are talking in the back of the classroom. Like, do you think she's actually going to use that? And Peggy comes back and gets on to him, and she's like, Paddle and Peggy says, what does Paddle and Peggy says? Paddle and Peggy says, I just thought was very funny that she gave herself a catchphrase.
She's leaning into it.
It's just over in the alley though, Bobby is going to come and ask the guys for help because Peggy's getting a little scary with this whole Paddle and Peggy shtick. um, Joseph is having nightmares about Peggy paddling him, and we this is where my favorite lines
I
of the
thought it might be
episode
this
come
one.
in. Yeah, Dale is like, Hank, my son is having dreams about being spanked by your wife, and Bill says that's not so unusual.
Like just doesn't what's face just stays completely straight the whole time that he says it.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I mean, yeah,
We've
understandable.
we've all been there.
Um,
That's understandable.
Bill is immediately gonna like say some more shit about like Peggy's got more testosterone flowing through her veins
Oh
now.
yeah.
I bet you she could grow a mustache if she wanted to. And Hank, gives him the side eye, and he's like, well, I don't know why she would want to. Uh,
Throwback to the cold open.
Yep.
uh, nice, yeah. I love whenever Bill just immediately gets like barked down by Hank. It's
Yeah.
so funny. I'm a big Bill fan. Over at the dinner table, this is an interesting scene. This is a very Luann light episode, but the scene kind of starts with Luann posing a question to the table, like, guess who won best French manicure in beauty school today? And then she just gets completely ignored for the rest of the scene.
And
Yeah.
Peggy is shaving, she's actually shaving her mustache, right? In this
She's
scene?
scratching her lip.
Oh, okay.
Hank
Yeah.
notices her scratching his lip, and it's starting to
He's like, oh
set into
gosh.
Hank that she's on a power trip.
Yep.
But
Um,
also, Luann didn't even want to brag about herself winning the manicure. She
mhm,
just wanted to like
Yeah.
talk about that
It
this person
turns
who Hank and Peggy probably have never met winning it.
mhm.
it wasn't even her.
It
Oh,
wasn't
I
even
love
her.
Luann, man.
I do too. It was someone else.
And she doesn't she like tink the glass before she says it too? Like
Yeah.
ding ding ding. Like I have a big announcement.
And
Uh,
just so complete, so sad for Luann in this scene. But Bobby doesn't want to hang out with Peggy and watch Shark Week.
Yeah,
And
Bobby's afraid of her in this episode,
mhm,
big
yeah.
time. That
she
was
like
interesting.
she like goes to touch his forehead. She's like, "Are you feeling well?" And he like pulls back. Um, and Peggy after Bobby leaves, Peggy is like, "What's gotten into him?" And Hank's like, "It's probably nothing, or it's you." And then Peggy immediately like kind of jumps down Hank's throat, and she's like, "I'm asking, like, I try and like give me some professional courtesy." She says, like, I didn't talk down to you during your Spatula Tuesday
Yeah,
fiasco.
I want to know more about that. What
Yeah,
was
I
the
want a whole
Spatula
episode
Tuesday
about
fiasco?
Spatula Tuesday. Do you think that could be a reference about them moving to Tuesdays on Fox too?
Maybe.
Spatula Tuesday fiasco.
That fiasco of them having to move from Sundays. But yeah, I do love just the line of Peggy saying, "I don't teach you how to, or I don't try to tell you how to sell propane and propane accessories."
Yeah, she's getting on to
I
him.
bet
She's
she does
bullied him.
though.
Yeah, like
Probably.
famously all the damn time.
Yeah,
So good.
Peggy does know best. We the next morning we're in the alley and a news crew is there to do a story on Paddle and Peggy.
Which is so Texas.
Very, very small
We got
town
to talk to
Texas.
this woman who's being praised for hitting children.
Because that's how slow news days could be in the 90s.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, she's lost Spanky and she's trying to recall where she was. And she's like, I know I had it because I drove home and I brandished it at that guy that almost
Brandish,
cut me
brandish,
off.
brandish.
I was walking to my sister. Brandish,
Could I
I
have
loved it.
dropped
Brandish,
it while I
brandish,
was
brandish.
in my fit of rage?
But Spanky is in Dale Gribble's trash that has a sign that says Dale Gribble's refuse, do not search.
Love that.
Yeah, I really loved that. But Peggy finds it and she's gonna start to accuse Joseph. And she's kind of puffing up. She's putting on for the cameras a little bit. They picked up their cameras and yeah, she's gonna accuse Joseph and it really kind of scares him. But Dale finally reveals as Peggy is about to hit Joseph with the paddle. Dale comes in and was like, "It was me. Somebody had to stop you. You're crazy." And Peggy is covered in grease because she was looking under the car. And we do get a funny animation of her looking at herself in the backup mirror
I
of the
love
alley.
how just demonic she looks
She
in
looks
that
like a little
Yeah.
reflection.
goblin.
Funny,
She's
but also like effective.
Yeah, she
She's
realizes
greasy.
that she's a monster.
Yeah, it sets in. Dale does call her. He's like, "You big bully." So
Yeah.
the other shoe is finally dropped.
I do love there's a line from Hank about like how he had a speech for Bobby about having to deal with a bully, but he's never had to
Mhm.
use it because of Bobby's dang improv comedy.
Yeah, his
Like
prop
every time he
comedy has
gets into
allowed
a
him to escape.
scenario, he's just got too much riz.
He's
We
He
trying
never
gets
to.
bullied.
we never actually hear the speech though, or like learn anything about it,
No,
Yeah.
no. Hank asks if she wants to hear the speech, and she says no.
So did anyone
She's-
ever get to hear that speech?
Yeah,
No.
I don't think Bobby
No one
ever
ever got to
needed
hear
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Hank?
I liked that. But yeah, Peggy just says, she needs to find the old Peggy, that won her substitute teacher of the year twice. Um, the culmination of the episode is gonna happen here at Tom Landry Middle School. The final conflict, you know, um, I think it's very funny in the classroom. The bell rings and we get a line from Dooley of "That's
He's
the
back."
bell. That's the bell." Dooley, I thought you were suspended. I thought you were fired.
I love when she pulls down the map, there's like the picture of her with her pants down. They put
Mhm.
like hair on her legs and
Yep.
huge feet.
He's like, "You have big feet."
Brilliant artistry. Dooley has talent.
Yeah, he's a
Teacher
little
as a
misguided.
caricature artist.
Yeah.
There was so much Dooley in this episode. I loved it.
I was really hoping we would get Dooley in the revival. Hopefully there's still time, but we didn't see any Dooley, did we?
Yeah, there hasn't really been much of any of the kids besides like the main ones grown up that I can
Yeah.
think of.
Be nice to get like Clark Peters as a garbage man or something. But yeah, the things are going to kind of come to a head. Peggy's trying to get the class back under control, and we get Randy is like, "Why don't you paddle him, paddling Peggy?" And everyone's
Dork.
like, "Yeah, come on,
Because
do it."
he wants the bully to get revenge
Yeah.
on the bully. He clearly has a bone to pick with him, and he's like
Yeah.
visibly
Yes.
upset when Peggy doesn't actually spank him.
Yeah, I did love Randy on the side of this episode of just like trying to get some justice. But Peggy's like, "No, I'm not going to use the paddle because I have this," and she like whips out a mace flail, like a
Yeah, so
A
correction.
flail on a
She calls
chain.
it a mace. That is not a mace.
oh,
That is a flail.
that's a flail.
Yes.
Hmm.
A mace doesn't even have the ball with the spikes. That's a morning star.
I was gonna say that's a morning star.
Yeah.
Wow, medieval weaponry
That's
check.
my medieval history degree coming in handy.
What a
here.
nice name for a horrible weapon.
Yeah.
Morning Star.
That sounds great. Bonk. um, Yeah, so she pulls out this what she calls a mace, this flail, and she swings it around, and there's all the kids are like,
Also,
and
probably enough to get you fired by today's standards, just brandishing a
definitely.
weapon in class. But
She's lucky that she had good aim and like
yeah.
didn't let go of that or anything.
Yeah, she uses it to rip the tacky drawing off of the map of Spain, but she starts to go into her lesson about the Spanish Inquisition, and this is where
Torture
she actually
methods.
she actually shows her chops as a good teacher, and she's
Yeah.
connecting like what her students want. They obviously want violence and punishment.
Yeah, I
Um,
love this scene. I love
hmm
this ending because people will often say Peggy isn't a good teacher, and I disagree with that. Like she is at the very
hmm
least not a bad teacher. She sucks at Spanish later on, but like this scene shows that she
hmm
does have like good teaching instincts and most of all wants these kids to learn and like cares about them and cares about reaching them.
Yeah. She didn't win
Yeah.
substitute teacher of the year twice in a row for no reason.
Yeah, the kids are taking notes. Clark is like cool, and that people are asking questions. So it's like we do get a nice. I really liked how this scene happened with the her reconnecting, and yeah, it was a good scene. Um, we end the episode though in the garden. Peggy's back in her garden, and we see some eyeballs peeping through the fence, and she's like, "I feel someone watching me, Joseph." Joseph, and then Joseph comes around the corner on his bike from
What?
the opposite direction, and it's Dale in the fence, and he's like, "Watch out, Joseph." But yeah, Peggy. Oh, in that last scene at Tom Landry Middle School, there's a cute part between Peggy and Joseph where Peggy says like a lot of people were unfairly punished and nobody said sorry.
Not
Um,
even Peggy. She just slightly implied it, but she
yeah,
still didn't say sorry.
Which is
she's
In
very
typical
true.
boomer
Yeah.
fashion.
yeah, she still won't in this garden scene. She just asks, like, will you guys help me spread some mulch? And they're like, what's it made out of? And she says paddle. So like,
And goat manure,
and goat manure. So her way of apologizing is just destroying the paddle, I guess, and vaguely hinting at apologizing.
which is good enough.
Good enough for Peggy.
You
Uh,
mentioned the garden, like it makes three appearances. I was thinking that's kind of like the opposite of corporal punishment in a way, because it's like, nurturing and you have to just give it lots of care and attention
Yeah.
and you get really slow results as
mhm.
opposed to, just instilling fear in a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really good. Nice. I didn't even thought of that. But
That's
it's
why
pretty
we had her on the show.
absolutely the expert. We would have never come to that conclusion.
Yeah. Our dumbasses.
We certainly wouldn't have. Would have been like, why don't they have the garden in other episodes?
Like definitely whatever it is, it's intentional for sure. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah, no, that
that.
that actually makes a lot of sense.
But that's the episode.
And probably a perfect segue to step into the alley, right?
Step into the alley.
I'm a gonna buy you a drink.
So this is the segment of the show where we rank the episode out of 6 Alamo beers. 6 obviously being this is a perfect episode. It can be based on whatever criteria you want, your own personal opinion. Does anyone have an idea where this episode stacks up beer wise?
I mean, it's a good episode for sure. I would not
Mm-hmm.
put it on a list of like must watches, apparently, other
Mm-hmm.
than sort of for the meme value. I, it's hard to say because just like there's so many good episodes of King of the Hill that even the ones that aren't that good are like still kind of good.
Yeah.
So I would say it's good, but it's just not like as good as, some of the better ones.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm going to call it a 3.5. I don't think there was anything bad or wrong with this episode. Not really anything that I disliked. But Brad, you know me. I just want more B plot.
Yeah, Chris really
I just
loves
I,
the
oh,
the point five. He likes drinking
Very little
half a
B
beer.
plot.
very little B
Very
Yeah.
little
plot.
B plot.
Like
I would
I
have
feel
loved to
like
know more about Luann's manicure of the month or whatever.
I
yeah,
genuinely want to know, Luann. Like, seriously.
I would have liked a little bit more of like the guys in the alley exploring their past trauma and like
Yeah, like
maybe other
flashbacks or
ways that
Yeah,
something.
that
more
came
with
back.
Jeter the beater, maybe.
Hmm
Yeah, and like to put Cotton in the episode really as only the driver for getting Peggy reinstated, and then he kind of disappeared. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
But
I'm
wanted
gonna.
I also
more.
didn't, he didn't feel like, I could have gone with for more Cotton, but he also didn't feel too forced, like they just
Yeah.
were trying to cram him in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything worked, and I left the episode wishing that we got more, and I feel like for that reason, it makes me want to give it a higher rating. So I think I'm gonna go 4.
Yeah.
What are you
Hmm.
thinking, Marianne?
I think I'm also leaning to like a 3.5.
3.5. All right. So a solid, like, middle of the road. Not the best episode, but a memorable episode. I think we can all agree
Yeah.
on that. And with that, I think we can just move right into the Hill King.
God dang it, Bobby, God dang it,
Coronation.
Bobby,
The
God dang it,
crowning.
God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, 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 dang it, Bobby, 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 dang it, Bobby.
So now we got to crown a king, an MVP of the episode. Who stood out the most in this episode? I think we have a lot of options. It was a very
There's
character-heavy episode.
there's so many options.
A lot of
So many
ancillary
options.
characters who have not been crowned. So on the show, we always put the past Hill Kings. They'll
They'll
be
be
kind of
here.
crowding the screen. All of our picks will be below us. So you'll be able to see who everyone has picked for the season. We do it every season, and then at the end of the season, we analyze who got the most Hill Kings and who is the Hill King of the overall season.
The Hill King of the Hill Kings.
Yeah.
Yes. And then
I
once we're inevitably done with the whole series, we'll know who is the best character
best.
definitively.
Scientifically proven.
Yes, it's very scientific.
I have taken Peggy a lot this season. And
Yeah,
I do think there's a strong case for Peggy in this episode because
I agree.
she learns her lesson kind of naturally and she course corrects herself.
She really comes to it on her own.
Hmm.
Like no one has to. Well, actually, yes, people do kind of have to tell her. But
Yeah, she kind of needs a lot of hand holding, actually.
Once
still.
once
But
once
she
she
still gets
sees
there.
it though, once she sees it, she course corrects effectively, and I like that we get to see her being a good teacher. Um,
That ending scene was very sweet.
so I think she's on up for consideration for me. I think Dooley is obviously up for consideration. I'm sure Dooley's
Yeah,
on y'all's list for consideration for just
yeah.
so many good jokes.
Part of me has Luann in the running because I'm a
I
Luaniac.
know
We all
you are
know
a
that.
loose
We love
stan.
a loose Stan. We love Luann.
I
And
was
that
kind of
joke was
thinking Dale actually.
yeah,
He doesn't play a huge role in this episode, but he is sort of
he
what
had some
causes
good
the
lines.
resolution, and it was just really nice seeing how much he loves Joseph. Like there's a bit where
Yeah,
he says
Yeah,
like, "Don't worry, Joseph, Daddy's here," and that
yeah,
was just
Daddy's
that
like,
was
here.
"Aw,
sweet.
he loves Joseph."
Do you think that's who you're going with? You going Dale? Locking it in?
Either Dale or Peggy. Peggy, it's just because that last scene is really good. And it's just, is it enough to make up? Is it enough to match Dale? Hmm. I mean, did you guys lock in yours already?
I know who
I
I'm going with
I think
definitively.
okay, you go ahead, Brad.
Emily,
Ah.
the
Okay.
hall monitor, because that was the joke that made me laugh the most of her being
Yeah,
a bodyguard and saying, "It's over, Mrs. Hill."
it's
Emily
over,
is my
Mrs.
Hill
Hill.
King of the episode.
Come on, Mrs. Hill, it's over. It was so good. I'm half tempted to take old Spanky, uh, because I like to take I like to take an object.
That's good. Yeah, Chris has chosen a lot of inanimate objects as
I
his
like
Hill King.
I like that it still struck fear into the behinds of the alley guys. I thought that was very funny where they all
Yeah.
did their little pop up, but I think I'm gonna lock in Dooley.
Oh, wow.
I just he had so many lines in this episode I
Yep.
just loved, and I think one of my favorite was "Tu es muerte."
Yeah. I think this is our second Dooley Hill
That's
King
the second time
crowning.
I've picked Dooley. Yes,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, I think I'm taking
Congrats.
Dool.
Congrats to Dooley. All right. You got it locked in?
Well, Chris, your comment about the paddle made me think I almost want to choose classical conditioning or like Pavlovian responses
Yeah,
as my
That's
Hill King,
really
but
she's taking corporal
the
punishment.
concept of corporal punishment.
but I actually think I am gonna go with Peggy just because although I love Dale in this episode, this is such a quintessential like Peggy Power episode, you know.
Yes. Yeah, I think that is the most level-headed and probably apt Hill King to choose. I
Wow.
appreciate a Peggy Hill King. It probably would have been wrong if one of us didn't pick Peggy.
I was between Peggy and Dooley.
Yeah. That's a nice well-rounded Hill King choosing for the
Yeah,
episode.
I
So
think
with
so.
that, we can go ahead and we can wrap it up. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much for
Thanks
coming,
for having
Mary.
me.
It was great to meet you. Great to have you on the show. Always good to connect with more King of the Hill based content creators because there's not a ton of us out there.
Koth
No,
aficionados.
there
Yeah.
are dozens of. I'm not even sure there are dozens, honestly. I was about to-
This is
There are literally at
25%.
least 5 of us. Yeah, we probably have
Yeah.
a good percentage of the King of the Hill contingency on
There's like
here, but
2 YouTubers, like
There's the blog guys.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we're taking over. King of the Hill's back, baby.
Sweet. Do you want to drop your socials here? We'll have them in the bio, of
Yeah, we'll
course, as
link
well.
it
Is there
for our
anything you want
very
to point people
modest
to?
following.
Yeah, so I am kothtok, KOTHTOK, and that's on TikTok and Instagram. I mostly am on TikTok, so that's where you should go for primary stuff. And then on YouTube, I'm late night Saturday morning with no spaces, but same content. Eventually, I'll be making long form stuff, but I have not gotten around to doing that yet. So, in addition to King of the Hill, I also have lots of content about Futurama, Simpsons, other things. I've got playlists on my profile that have various stuff and impressions. So,
Love it.
Perfect.
Everybody
That's good
go
stuff.
check that out. Obviously, what's our next episode on the docket here, Crisp?
Oh, episode 12 is, oh my gosh, I should have written it down. Get
He
over to
doesn't even
IMDb.
know.
I know, I'm sorry. It is three coaches and a Bobby. It's the
Woo,
episode where Bobby
okay.
plays football.
All right. Well, we'll be back in a couple of weeks for that one. Once again, go check out kothtok on everywhere. And we'll see y'all in a
see
couple
ya.
weeks.
Next time. Thanks, guys. I love that one.
Hill Kings Podcast.